check.
Who ripped ass?
Not me.
Not me.
Nobody ripped ass. Am I the only one smelling that?
I ain't ripped my ass. My ass is fully intact. And that's a
I smell nothing.
motherfucking damn
You don't
fact.
smell anything.
I don't
I smell it
motherfucking
now.
smell
Yeah.
shit. But you do smell like shit.
That is
Gotta switch it
ass.
up when I spit.
That is baby
And
just
make
shit,
sure you
and it's blowing it in the
That's
room.
it. And don't you dare blame that on my baby. If you out here talking crazy, then I have to act so shady. Hey yo, ooh, this beat's so crazy, dog. Hold on, let me get it in.
Oh, it went away. Unless if you have it, it's
As they go to Baby Jank's room.
Tripping. All right, let's see. We can turn it down a little bit.
Turn my headphones up.
Put some treble in it. Ayy. Put some treble in it. Ayy. Put some treble in it. Ayy. Spaghetti, spaghetti, spaghetti.
hot sauce.
Lasagna. All right. We get flagged for that probably. I don't care. Fuck y'all. Y'all tried to take down Chilled Kyle, and the motherfucking people spoke. Got our boy back online.
Shout out to Alex Jones.
Oh, and Al
R.I.P.
Gore.
He ain't dead yet, but for when he do die. For when that deep state get him.
You know, because that's the first ones they try to take out. Them conspiracy theorists. But actually, they'll let them live, though.
Well, yeah.
Because once they kill them, then it kind of legitimizes the shit that they've been talking about. So, Alex Jones, you going to live to be about 150.
Oh, yeah.
Still talking about...
Watch, he's going to end up being like a vegetable in a hospital. And the deep state won't go ahead and allow him to, like, his family to pull the plug on him.
Yep.
It'll be in his will, pull the plug. and the hospital's going to be like, nope, there's ethical issues here.
Half like cryo state.
Oh, yeah. They're going to freeze him against his will.
That's wild. And just to have to be 2,000 years in the future and then they unfreeze Alex fucking Jones. Come on, dog. I'm straight.
And it's all reptilians by that point. Like, he's the only human left. Right. How does it feel to know that it was all true and you can't do anything about it now? He's like, no, damn dirty apes.
We are peaking.
Okay.
Oh.
It's all right. I could change it no matter where. I turn it down up here a little bit.
Ooh.
So welcome to episode 8 of
Ocho.
the No Consensus podcast. Oh, we speak in different languages.
ESPN de Ocho.
Ooh. Today you got your special guest here, Mikey, aka the Black Stallion, aka
He is a special guest.
Mask of Zorro, aka your mama's favorite black boy, aka one of the good ones, aka I didn't mean aka. To my left, we got aka. To my left, we got my boy Jake. That's a nice shirt you got on, the St. Peter and Paul Orthodox Church merch today. I fucks with it. So it's Jake, aka Church Boy, aka Choir Boy, aka Altar Boy, aka He Didn't Touch Me Like That, aka I Think I Kind of Asked For It, aka It's Not His Fault, Foster.
Wow.
To my right, we
Don't
got
blame me,
my
blame
boy
the system.
Wazzy, aka the 16-bit champ, aka the wide mouth bass, aka the motherfucking abominable snowman, aka the motherfucking the big deal in Idaho, Wozniak.
Wazzy, I think you need to work on getting like a 6-pack so you could be the abdominal snowman.
Both of those are still hard for me to say, but either way, baby, let's get it in. Let me pull this in a little closer, make my voice sound smoother. Play with my lows.
Got that
for me.
Barry Manilow.
Give me some lows. Fuck with my low or my middle.
Is this you?
Nope, middle. Yeah. Ooh,
Super
a little too much though. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
We all right. And then I'm gonna turn my whole thing down. So what's up, boys? I mean, what's up, boys? How y'all doing today?
You know, just same old, same old.
I'm good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
What about you, Michael?
There's a couple things that I really need us to talk about.
Hopefully not black historical figures.
No. We're not speaking on black people no more for another 12 months.
Just gonna say 11 months.
Yeah. I'm thinking like, is it 11 or 12? I don't know. Sponsored by Fruity Stripes.
I turn around full 360.
Yeah, sponsored by. Oh damn, we done broke our shit open. Cheers, Waz and Jake. Ooh, Rockstar, sponsored by Rockstar.
And Dunkin' Donuts.
Unofficially sponsored by Rockstar and unofficially sponsored by Fruit Stripes. The best 5 seconds of your life.
I still want to try the bag of bacon from Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, can we getting into our fat bag because that KFC just dropped that donut crispy chicken sandwich
Right in time for Lent. Thank you.
You seen that shit? Woo!
I think a buddy of mine tried one.
The Luther. Oh wait, what they called it in Boondocks.
I'm gonna.
No chewing gum on the set. Sorry.
Oh man.
You can. It's sugar.
Yeah, I know, but no, we can't chew gum. It's gonna.
Then
sound
you just
terrible.
hear.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it'll just be 5 seconds. So.
Yeah. Okay. Just get out there. If the viewers can.
I want to time it for the people.
The flavor lasts 5 seconds. The sounds don't. The sounds never leave the brain.
I don't.
He's gonna stop chewing.
I'm gonna turn my mic off though.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna time it here. So.
Okay. I do want to try it. It sounds like some fat shit though, and it sounds like some shit you gotta get like when they first open up. I want my shit. I want it fresh. The donut fresh. The chicken fresh. I don't want to come during rush hour to get that bitch because it's gonna be sloppy as hell. What else are they throwing on there? Is it just 2 donuts and a piece of chicken? They got some pickles on there. They got some. I don't know. They got some sauce on that bitch.
I don't know. I'm guessing they're going for the waffles and the chicken and waffle type flavor.
Some syrup in there or something.
But there were some restaurants doing donut burgers for a while.
Yeah, it's not the first time I've seen it. It's just the first time I've seen it at a fast food restaurant that wants to mass produce.
Well, I mean, they had a
days.
sandwich that was 2 fried chicken patties with cheese in the middle.
Fire. And I never got to eat that neither. Maybe I should have turned into one of these guys who go hunting for the newest, like review, bruh. Go around hunting for the newest shit. And,
Wait for an
make
hour
sure
and
I
a half of
try it.
Popeyes.
Yeah. I finally got a Popeye sandwich. That bitch slapped hard, but it's not an hour and a half. I think I'll wait for any food.
From what I heard, they were good. But they're not.
That bitch was good as hell, and the breast was huge. Because we like huge breasts around here. It was huge, and it was busty. It was a busty breast that they threw on that sandwich, so it was delicious. That motherfucking piece of gum lasted a little longer than I
Jake's
thought.
up to 110, about a minute more than.
It's still going.
When did you start it though? Did you start as soon as you started chewing, or you started when you opened up the pack?
No. As soon as I started chewing.
Okay, I thought you opened the pack. It was like, all right, this is when the flavor starts dissipating. It just go.
That would be another good test, though.
As soon as it touches air.
Yeah. That we at a minute 32. So yeah, maybe that'll be one of our tests. Maybe next week we grab some, but KFC don't open this early, so we'd have to do it a week that we do a little later. And grab some sandwiches and do a taste test.
And Lent.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind watching you guys eat meat though.
No, I'm not eating in front of you like that, bro. That's disrespectful. Eat meat though. Come on, you trying to say something funny?
Put big meat in your mouth.
These rock stars hit your stomach different when you ate shit all day. Like I'm feeling jittery already. And I thought you was turning it on
gone?
to say it's gone.
Is the flavor gone?
It's getting there. It's getting there, and I'm at less than 2.5.
Was it Big Red that had Juicy Fruit was like 5 seconds. So like you start chewing and then it's gone.
That's what this is. Fruit Stripes. No. Juicy Fruit too though. Juicy Fruit, the yellow joint. I ain't had no Juicy Fruit in a long time. Now that I think about it.
There might be like an ounce of flavor left.
Yeah.
But it's so subtle that might as well call it 2.5 minutes.
Yeah,
and it's
2.5. There we go. And this segment is what we call Gone
with the Gum.
Yeah, Gone with the Gum, where we review your favorite strips of gum. Leave in your comments your favorite bubble gums and which ones you would like for us to review next. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification. Join Naughty Gang. Ha, gang.
That was really aggravating. Yeah. I think people do actually need those reminders. Like, because when I hear that, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't subscribe yet, or I didn't, or I actually do want to turn.
I do, and now that I think about it, I think I am a jackass because even when something truly helped me out in a YouTube video, I still don't press like on them bitches, dog. And I'll be like, why did you like this video? It don't take nothing to press the. Oh, I just slapped the shit out your mic. It don't take nothing to press that fucking thumbs up. Why do I do that? Why do I do that? Do y'all like everything that y'all look at?
Not everything. I try to keep like a kind of high threshold. No, I'll lower that threshold if it's
What are you doing?
if it's like a smaller.
I just grabbed Wazzy's Rockstar on accident.
Is that what you're calling it now?
What I do.
But like if it's a smaller channel that doesn't have a whole lot of support and stuff like that, I'm more inclined to go ahead and like it just to give them a little bit of love.
I'll do liking on like science channels or like tech channels where so like Mark Rober or Smarter Everyday, stuff like that, where I want them to get higher on the list so that they have more viewers.
Yeah, I just feel like that's something I gotta do. Start doing consciously, because like there's literally been videos that save my ass, like at work, here at home, and I'm just be like, thanks, bro, and then hit back on their ass, like, hit home page or close the tab. Like I could have threw you.
You saved me $1,000.
Yeah,
all right, bye.
Yeah, I could have threw you a like, bro. I feel bad. So for every YouTuber that I've got some serious substance from and didn't like, I truly apologize. And for everybody listening to this, don't be a Mike. Be a good person. Be a good guy. Like our shit.
Or just decent.
Subscribe. Yeah. And hit notifications because you want to know when the next one coming out. That's the whole point of the notifications. Hit the bell, dog. You ain't doing nothing else. You at home. You sitting on the couch. You ain't doing shit with your life. Hit the
they could be driving and watching, and now they aren't driving anymore.
Yeah. And like Joe Rogan's, most of his podcasts I don't listen to, but I want to know which ones are coming out so that I can make that decision instead of it just being, oh, I happen to see in my YouTube feed, that there's a new one.
Yeah. True. We never talked about Wilder versus Tyson fight last week, and your thoughts on it are just so fascinating to me, just from like seeing your comments on Facebook and shit. Just so you know, Wazzy, Wilder, the black guy, got his ass whooped by the Gypsy King, and it was not a pretty fight.
I still have to watch the whole fight.
Okay, so
was it dirty or was it just
he came out there?
Well, just because he's a gypsy. I mean, he is a. Yeah.
He said it wasn't a clean fight, so
it was a clean fight. And there are pictures that people were trying to show that like Tyson's hand wasn't all the way in the glove or something. I didn't really get it, but and then Wilder, after he got his ass beat, said that he wore a costume that was 40 pounds and it made his legs weak when he finally got to the ring. And that's why he lost the fight.
Okay, you deserve to lose. Yeah. What if you made a dumb choice?
Right. And I'm glad you just said that. I thought that when you took the heavy shit off, it made you faster. It made you more agile.
If anime's taught me one thing,
when you take that shit off, you get your ass whooped, dog. That just shows me that anime is not real life, huh?
Or that Deontay.
That's a great fucking point, Wazzy. Every time the anime character takes off the heavy shit, it's a wrap for your ass. He said his legs was weak, knees weak, arms is heavy. It's vomit on my sweater already, mom spaghetti. That's what he said when he got in the ring, and that's why he got 6 rounds or 7 rounds.
Yeah, 7 rounds.
Of that ass tapped. And I think he motherfucking fired his coach. Or what? Not coach.
His trainer
threw the towel in, and I think he fired him for that. Shit.
Well, there was talks that he was going to, but I'm pretty sure that he didn't. He clarified things with his coach or his trainer, saying like, "Look, I want to go out on my shield. I'm a warrior." It's like, yeah, but you don't have to be so dumb.
Yeah, especially during that fight, his ear was fucking bleeding, so everybody thought he had a ruptured eardrum. His lip was fucked up, eyes is fucked up. So it's like, all right, if you want this rematch, do I let you go deaf in this ring trying to fight him and not come out in the 12th? Like, even if you beat him, is it gonna be worth it in the long run?
Right, because the first fight was a draw, right?
Yep.
So the second fight goes to Fury. Well, there's an immediate rematch clause in the
They
contract.
fight again in July.
and stuff.
Fast
so,
as hell.
So why go ahead and damage yourself possibly permanently when you could take the L now, reclaim it, and then now you're lined up for a fourth fight, which is going to be super big money.
And his ass better come to that ring butt ass naked. I don't want to hear no excuses. You better have dick
slinging.
out, boy. You better put your shorts on when you get in the ring, son. I don't want to hear shit about you being tired or too much weight on you.
I mean, just because you can go on doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. So I just want to hear your thoughts on, because basically, from what I gather, Jake just does not think any of these boxers are skilled.
Yeah, no, they're all trash.
They're trash. So,
So,
and I got a couple things that I just that we gonna talk about. So go ahead. What makes them so trash?
so for one, you know how I feel about showmanship.
Hates it.
Yes, I absolutely hate it. So
He wants
Tyson Fury comes out.
white bread fighters.
No. So Tyson Fury comes out. Gypsy King is his nickname. So he comes out dressed as a king, wearing a robe, a crown. He's sitting on a throne that's being carried by these people.
So like
all the way
full
out to the ring.
WWE style, where you're like,
Yes,
dude, just
exactly.
calm down.
And yeah, I don't like, if we're talking about professional wrestling, that's one thing.
But it makes sense there.
Exactly. But this is supposed to be like the serious sort, like, I mean, you're putting your life on the line.
It's not a men's
Millennial
drama. It's a
heavyweight
fight.
champion.
Yeah, so that's his outfit there. Real cute. Putting the hood over the crown, that makes sense.
Wait, so it was 40 pounds, but he was being rolled down. He did no walking.
This is not the dude that was getting this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I also want, like, if I remember correctly, those are women going like,
There's
down there?
definitely women down there. Amazonians.
Right. And
Not happy.
When he stood up, I couldn't help but be like, these poor ladies, like, you're going to be moving around on me too now? Shifting the weight here and there?
There has to be wheels under that.
I can't imagine that's just those
I
poor
would hope
women.
they're just
Just for their
fake
sake.
holding it up.
Yeah. And then Deontay did like a similar sort of like theatrical entrance with his stupid outfit. Oh yeah, here we go. Look at this. Like,
Why?
exactly why?
Both of them is like super big into their heritage. So they made this fight kind of like
'cause it was
the
Black History Month and
gypsies
stuff, too.
versus the blacks, right? So he come out in this like weird African.
This was supposed to be his like his homage to Black History Month.
yeah.
It looks like Black Panther got sprayed
Yeah,
by a glitter bomb.
Yeah, look at this, bro. That shit crazy.
So instantly I'm turned off. Yeah. And then especially considering the fact that he's going to claim that outfit is why he lost. Okay, well, you made a really dumb choice, and yeah,
right.
deserve to lose. But
40 pounds isn't light, but those are big dudes. They're
yeah,
Yeah, and I ain't
they're
gonna
at
say
least
you didn't
6'6",
have it on long. He probably had it on for about 20 minutes because you got to put it on backstage. You got a long ass walkout, and so you had it on for a long time. But that's your fault, bro.
Right.
Period. Point blank.
Yeah.
As soon as you put something on,
this was 100% you.
yeah, I 40 pounds, bro. As soon as I put something on like that on, I'm like, it's kind of heavy. Even if it's not that heavy, you're gonna be like, can I do this? Can I not do it? So
Right. I mean, he could have done just the mask.
Yeah.
He could have put it all on and been like, no, this ain't gonna work out for me. Let's take this extra stuff off and just do the mask.
Yeah.
dude, just like chest armor.
Yeah.
just the middle portion or
Yeah.
something.
You could have
But
piecemealed
still,
it.
it's a fight. Don't.
Right. But
So that's Jake's first gripe.
Yeah.
Both of you came out looking like buffoons.
Yeah.
Mongoloids.
but like growing up, my dad was really into boxing. I always joke about how I never saw him read anything that wasn't about dogs or about boxing. I would try to get him to help out with my homework and everything like that. He couldn't say any of the words. He couldn't spell any of the words to save his life. But when it came to boxing, he had this little white newsletter that he would get in the mail, I think every week or something like that, that had all the fights that were coming up, all the stats. Like, my dad had a reputation around Milan and like around my family. If anyone needed to know any boxing information for the next 2 years, they're like, "Hey Joe, so Felix Trinidad, when's his next fight gonna be? You know, is he moving up?"
So he had his own little fighters Reader's Digest type thing.
Yeah. And that's the only thing that he would read. That, and he had this big encyclopedia of dogs that was about that thick. I was showing Julia like pictures of, we were talking about dogs a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Yeah, babe, you ever see a Borzoi?" She's like, "What the hell is that?" I don't know
what the fuck that is.
Yeah, so I looked it up and showed her. She's like, "How the hell do you know about like this weird?" I think it's a Russian dog. Borzoi, I think. Yep. Yeah, but like I know about all these weird dogs and stuff like that because my dad had this encyclopedia that he would just sit there.
This picture right here,
those are related to what was the dog in Simpsons?
Oh, look at this motherfucking dog! Oh yeah, what was that?
Was that a greyhound? A whippet?
Oh my god, these dogs look scary than a bitch. Imagine you see this stray outside. I know he fast as hell.
Yep, and he's big.
That is an alien.
They're about this big.
I know this dog will fuck you up in the apocalypse.
Yeah. So,
oh my god, no, thank you. No fucking thank you.
So it looks like it's like part border collie, part shepherd, but giant and
like
fast.
skinny, like the greyhounds.
Yeah, and they're Russian, if I remember.
Dead
correctly.
in the eyes.
But yeah, so my dad raised us on watching like fights of like watching old fights of, you know, Muhammad Ali, of Roberto Duran. I think in 4th grade I actually wrote 3rd or 4th grade. Yeah, no, it was 4th grade. I wrote a book report on I was in the library. And the book I picked out, I saw that they had a biography of Marvin Hagler. So I went ahead and wrote a book report about Marvelous Marvin Hagler, because like that's the guys that, you know, my dad was raising us watching. Tyson, Evander Holyfield. I remember watching Tyson bite Holyfield's ear live, and these guys were all serious about their boxing, you know, and they had clean techniques and all that jazz. The way I look at Fury and Wilder both they're great fighters. Like, I can't take that away from them, but they're not good boxers. And those are just two very different things. You could, like, Wilder's got one hell of a punch. You know, could flatline you like that.
Probably the strongest punch ever, though.
Right. but how many guys on the street have like super crazy punches like that? Mm-hmm. You know, the actual boxing skill and training just isn't really there, in my opinion. Though, I mean,
I don't think there's anybody on the street that'll punch as hard as Tyson, Deontay Wilder.
Well, I'm not saying that they could punch as hard, but they could go ahead and definitely knock you out in one punch.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, there's definitely plenty of one punch.
But that also is a testament to him actually having some boxing skill. They couldn't jump in the ring and fight him. He would whoop their ass.
What sort of competition is there, though? That's what I'm saying. There's plenty of guys who sure can go ahead and do that, but are doing something else with their life. For whatever reason, he was put in a situation where he decided to go down
to
this
dedicate
road.
to boxing. Yes, I agree. But he didn't start boxing till he was older. I want to say I don't want to butcher it, so I'm gonna just ask
Jeeves.
But I don't think he started boxing till he was a little older.
2005.
Began training. He was 20, so that's not super old or nothing. But most dudes who be boxing, they be at like 10 and shit in the ring in the gym. So, but yeah, I agree with you with Wilder. I think he can box. I think he just relies on his power too much. I think he knows that I can knock a motherfucker out at any time, and so I don't feel like I gotta train with that. And that's a dumb thing to think, like, dog.
Right? Because you're gonna get older. That punching power is gonna go, and now what do you have?
Exactly.
You got nothing. You're gonna get your ass knocked out. You're gonna get humiliated and possibly hurt.
And I
it's
think-
foolish while you have the opportunity to actually learn those skills and hone them for when you do get older and like that raw power just starts fading. That you need to start preparing for that. But he's got no forethought,
Yep.
and that frustrates me.
That's true. I think that Tyson Fury does have skill. I don't think it's as good of a skill as the boxers that you're talking about either. But when I'm watching the fight, the whole fight, you see him throwing feints, jumping back, setting him up for punches. His footwork is good. He's moving around him. That guy knows how to box. And also what I think that you're underestimating is the fact that this man is fucking 6'9", 280 pounds. All the boxers that you're talking about is 6'1", 6'2". Lennox Lewis is like the tallest at 6'5". Those guys, that's 6'5" is big, but these other guys are 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". My height, like 240. They're smaller. They got more technical. It's easier to be technical when you're that size.
Oh, certainly.
To be 6'9" and motherfucking 280 or whatever he is, and to be like that, I think that's probably the best that you could be.
But there's been 6'8", 6'9" guys before.
But they not legends.
Exactly, because who did they have to fight? They had to fight guys who were actual legends. What my gripe
And
is
got
that
outboxed. That's why. Don't you hate this? You can't even. I really wish I could throw Tyson back then, and because you're right, he probably get his ass whooped.
because I mean,
I don't know
it's
about
not
ass whooped.
necessarily
That's huge. You 6'9", and that's I don't know.
it's
Fighting a 6'3" dude.
It's a
Jesus
weird thing.
Christ.
It's a weird thing to go ahead and be like,
Big difference.
well, who's bet like. Like Michael Jordan couldn't handle things like the way the NBA is now.
If people say that, they're retarded and they don't know nothing about basketball.
I know, but people,
Michael Jordan would average 50 today if he was in the NBA.
but people, it's a weird thing to try and go ahead and take people for because NBA today and NBA then, boxing now.
It's true. It's different.
I mean, and not just talking about the competition, but the rules. Everything evolves, so it's not exactly the same game. So it's a weird thing to try and compare like the heavyweight division from the 90s to now.
Yeah.
And would Fury go ahead and be able to survive back then? I'm inclined to think that he would have a very difficult time and he wouldn't have the star power that he does now. But since it's so watered down, it's much
easier to have star power in the heavyweight. It's because you're right. It's literally Wilder, Fury, Anthony Joshua, and Ruiz. But he got his ass knocked out of that conversation for me. But so I don't know. I don't know if he'll ever bounce back. And there's a couple other guys that for some reason I just can't think of the names. But it's really only 3 dudes that you want to see fight.
Yeah. But see, the funny thing also is that I've always enjoyed the smaller guys. Like those little Mexicans get in there, those flyweights, bantamweights, bro. They're just standing there.
It's something about Mexican fighters, bro. In all sports.
The thing I find beautiful about it is like, they come from poor backgrounds and everything, and like they're practically fighting for their lives, and you see it, and like they care about the honor behind it all and everything. There's just a total different mindset. But what was it here? Shit, I can't remember.
That's all right.
But like I am rather disappointed that Wilder didn't go ahead and take the buyout, and because I think it would have been much more interesting to watch Tyson Fury versus Joshua. What's Anthony Joshua
doing that though?
Yeah,
he want that. He need that.
But because
you don't fight him again, your legacy is fucked.
Well, I mean, so let's see here. Fury now has one of the heavyweight titles. Yeah. Joshua has the other
2 or 3.
And stuff. So it would be a great chance to go ahead and reunite the belt, solidify it, and then he could go ahead and come and claim it all. Yep. But now he's going to have to go ahead and fight Fury, get that one back, and now fight Joshua again. Yeah. When he could be training, right now for whoever's going to win that fight. Be getting prepared for both of them, and then once that fight's over, preparing for the winner.
I never understand why the fuck is 4 belts in one division.
Yeah, that's a funny thing, and that's one thing that I've heard a lot from like MMA guys. Like there's one UFC heavyweight belt. There's not an IBC, a WBO.
It's retarded. It's the R word.
Yeah, so I don't know, but the sport has been boxing has been so big for so long, and honestly, I think that you can go ahead and say that MMA has the same problem because you have Bellator, you have the UFC, which all have their own individual belts, and those fighters can jump back and forth to a certain degree.
Can they?
To a certain degree, yeah.
I feel like Bellator and what's the other one? I can't remember what the fuck.
Well, Strikeforce is no longer,
but no,
they're no longer
not
around.
It's another one that's out there. They like to switch fighters. Pride, yes, but there's another one too. There's the other ones other than UFC. Seems like they get along a little more, and then I don't know. It seemed like Dana White don't want his fighters losing to other divisions fighters because then it make you seem like you don't have the best fighters in the world, like you claim you have everywhere you go.
Exactly.
But if you really do believe that, just let them fight. Who the fuck gonna beat John Jones anywhere? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Yeah. So, all right. Enough fight talk. Coronavirus.
My dad saw us and called me back about his thoughts on the fight.
Well,
but then again, it's dementia.
You should call him right now.
Get him on the phone right now.
Speaking of fighting for our life, coronavirus. Up to like 6,000
about.
Is this a real epidemic, or is it being overblown in the media? I feel like people have been kind of comparing it to other times like bird flu and like SARS and shit, but I feel like I've seen way more coverage about coronavirus than I ever did on those other like
it has a lower
Zika
death percent chance than most of the other like giant.
Yeah. So why are people dying? Is it because they're not going to the hospital soon enough, or?
Well, most of them have been elderly.
Yeah.
So like, and it's a respiratory disease. If you're an old person and you get pneumonia, I'm going ahead and already buying a sympathy card for your family.
Point.
Yeah. Every time, like, like one of these old timers I know, they get pneumonia. I'm like, all right, like, without a doubt, it always happens.
That's not funny, but goddamn.
Jake, why are we going casket shopping?
Jake just got a whole drawer in the fucking kitchen full of get well soon cards and sorry for your losses.
Well, yeah, if it's pneumonia, you're not getting the get well soon because I know what's going to happen. So, I've read this book plenty of times.
I don't know. Fuck, Jake.
Part of me thinks that everybody just likes something to be scared of. And
oh, yeah. It definitely sells, and like that fear goes viral real quick. But am I tripping though? Do y'all feel like y'all seen a lot of coverage of this, more so than any of these other diseases that have hit the streets? I mean, I'm rather unplugged, but I hear about it plenty still.
I remember hearing about SARS all the time. H1N1, everyone was scared of it.
Right, but so right now especially in Trump's America, we live with this whole idea of fake news. Don't trust the media. Yeah. They're trying to scare you. They're trying to influence the elections here. How convenient. This globalism, like that's all being wrapped into this narrative to get you to be paranoid and skeptical of all this jazz. But like. Sure, maybe it's being overblown, but like you were saying, like with SARS and H1N1 and all that, I remember plenty of coverage, and perhaps it is an overreaction, but perhaps that's what caused those possible epidemics to never develop into that,
But there's reports of like people being dragged off the street in China if they don't have a face mask on. It's like,
well, yeah, and that's the
China is wild.
There are videos of that right. of it happening.
Well, and that's the wild, messed up thing about it all is that what numbers do we trust? China's going ahead and saying one number.
Yeah.
Other people are saying
I don't trust
number.
The China numbers.
Right.
I don't know who I trust, but it ain't them.
I've seen those videos that you were talking about. Seen videos of them welding people into apartments and stuff. So if we're overreacting over here because of CNN and all this fake news, then why are they in Wuhan being, why is that happening there at the at Ground Zero?
And all these weird reports that come out saying it was a bioengineered virus that got out, and the bot scientific experiments and shit. It's kind of scary. But yesterday, the whole way, my whole ride home on the radio, they were talking to people who had trips and shit. Like, are y'all canceling y'all trips or not? And most people was calling in there, I'm not canceling my fucking trip. The media is overblown and blah, blah, blah. And certain trips,
It depends where.
yeah,
you're
exactly.
going.
Certain trips, I'm not going to do it neither. But you nasty motherfuckers who going on cruises and shit. No. I'm canceling the cruise.
Yeah.
Period. First of all, you getting sick on a cruise when it ain't no coronavirus out there. Them bitches is cesspools. You think you about to go on a cruise? Oh, hell no, boy. I'm not doing it. Not with the coronavirus out here, nice and hot in these streets. You crazy as fuck. Because we just went on a cruise, bro, and it you need some emergency on that bitch.
I ain't never been on one.
It was fun. You got to do it the right way though. But it's nasty, bro.
Well, you were stuck there with 1,000,
That's what I'm
2,000
saying.
people. And
Plenty of people who coming from
So it's a
all
mobile
type,
city.
Yeah, and it's plenty of people coming from all over the country to jump on this one boat and then go to another country
it's a city
or
with no one
another
coming
island.
in and out. So if one person is sick,
Right.
you're gonna get
Everybody
it somewhere.
getting it, and half of it, and you already hearing reports of dudes saying the
you're
doctor
out there
told
for how
him to
long?
stay home, and he still go to a fucking packed out concert with coronavirus. Like, fuck what the doctor say.
Even our work is like, hey, if you're gonna travel, let us know. And then when you travel, don't come into the office for 2 weeks. I'm like, it's a personal trip. I mean,
Yeah.
so the one thing I will say is this is the first time that I've seen as much economic damage.
Yeah,
I don't remember this
that
with
was getting
SARS or
his ass.
H1N1, but
yeah, same.
Dow was getting bent over, boy. Every time I pick up my phone, they down 1,000 points.
cons are getting canceled left and right. Nvidia and a bunch of tech companies are saying they're down and not making product anymore.
Well, NBA is talking about having games where they don't let fans in the arena, bro. They're talking about get ready because
They're
we're going
already
to
doing that with
have
soccer in Europe. Empty arenas.
arena.
That
Y'all
has to
gonna
be
play y'all
creepy.
games and
Oh, yeah.
nobody can be in there except for y'all. That's creepy as fuck, bro. You playing a whole nother team.
Just silence.
So like
No one clapping.
you
no one
hit a
cheering
ball
for
and
that
it just
three.
echoes. Just constant balls being
No,
kicked,
it's
and
even creepier because there are people clapping. The 6 people on your bench. So it's
All sounds like golf claps.
good hit, good shot, good hit.
good. But I mean, in soccer,
You know, but that would be that's an interesting opportunity to possibly play some guys who sit on the bench more because like there's not that pressure from like the crowd and everything. You know.
no, just the quiet, the
yeah.
pure quiet of nobody judging you.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell. That's true though.
But yeah. How long are you on like a cruise ship generally?
A week usually.
Wow. So like 2,000 people.
There's 2-week joints.
A mobile city.
Yep.
When you did yours,
2 weeks.
did you had stops, right? Because that
Yeah,
was the
we stopped at Jamaica and I can't remember the other 2.
Dominican
places we
Republic?
stopped. Maybe
Cuba?
something like that. Not
Puerto Rico,
man.
El Salvador.
I don't remember, bro. I'll look it up. But yeah,
Indonesia?
we got to stop at two little joints. But once again, it's like, all right, we got here at 8. Be back by 5, and so now it's like, okay, it take us 2 hours to get to
Go to
place
the
that we want to
city.
go to, and take us 2 hours to get back. So we really got like 3 hours here. So, but we had a good time. We did rock climbing and shit. But yeah, I'm not anything like that where it's just a bunch of people from all over the place stuck in one place for a week. I'm not doing it while the coronavirus is hot and ready. But I don't know. I don't know. Has there even been any cases in Hungary that make you want to cancel your trip?
Well, I mean, so when I was over there last, so for one, it's not just about Hungary at all because I'm having to go to an international airport, whether DTW or Toronto.
True that.
And there's people coming from all over the place there.
Isn't Italy up to like 11 or 17 people or
Italy's
something?
being crippled. Sounds like bad news over there. Yeah,
I guess that motherfucking spaghetti ain't good for y'all immune systems, is it?
pasta, man. It's, too many carbs. They need to go keto.
Exactly.
But so there's having to deal with the international airports. Don't know how many layovers, where those layovers are going to be. That's a factor into it as well. And then actually being in Hungary, because this trip would mostly be being in Budapest and a small little village. The village, I'm sure, would be fine. But Budapest,
They'd be wiped out already. But
no, man, the rural folks are the ones who live.
Guys.
If you, the thing about people living in big urban cities that's hilarious to me is like that's the worst place to be when you watch anything that's post-apocalyptic.
yeah.
Like, yeah. Anyways, but like in Budapest, there's plenty of it. Like there's quite a lot of Asians and stuff there. And I mean, not making stereotypes, but like, where's this coming out of? China? You know, a coworker, he was supposed to be going to Tokyo this month. He canceled that.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Tokyo's, or I mean, I think most of Japan's closing down like all their schools and stuff. So it just seems like, do we really want to make the risk? But there's also the theory that with the warmer weather that it'll go ahead and die out. But then there's reported cases in Chile and stuff like that. And guess how hot it is down there because it's their summertime. You know, it's like 90 degrees down there.
And
And
so if your ass don't get killed by that chilly summer, then
Well, they were saying alcohol kills the coronavirus, so maybe you'll be finding.
you got
specifically Modelo or Dos Equis.
drunk as fuck.
Yes.
I can't get coronavirus. I'm fucked up.
But with the economic decline, I wonder how much, like obviously a lot of our economy is tied up with China, and it has been for a long time, like production and all that. But
Yeah.
with how much more it is now compared to when like the bird flu, for example, hit, I wonder if how much of a factor that is, because I mean, especially Nvidia, where are they getting their parts from? You know, the supply chain all goes back to China, who's being ravaged. Like, I think I read some number about essentially because of the situation in China, essentially we have 1/10 of the world's population that's quarantined. 1/10.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Didn't that happen in the past? 50 years ago?
Well, yeah.
RP. Cheers. So is this a good time to buy in on some Dow stock while it's at the bottom?
I don't think it's the bottom.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can wait a little longer. Jump in.
Yeah, because you know, I sent you guys that article that was talking about the housing market and refinancing and all that sort of thing. Yesterday we got an email saying like
Fat percentage.
that people are pulling out,
Ooh.
and that like I can't think of the word, but like people who are backing the purchase is where all the big money is
The
from.
escrow stuff, or
Investors? What you talking
Yeah,
about?
pretty much like investors or whatever. You know, like the big bank is like,
Yeah.
you know, like, all right, we're selling way too much. Like, I like this is way too volatile of a market. I'm pulling out, and you know, so like our company doesn't have as much available to go ahead and guarantee certain rates and all that jazz. So like there was actually an email that went out that was like, all right guys, put everything on hold right now. Yeah, so
Even people who are already in the middle of the process of doing what you think?
there was some like, you know, finer points made about like if you're at, you know, this point, that point, you know,
we'll
go ahead and
honor it.
lock it in for 60 days because like we need to go ahead and see where this is actually going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
But again, this has been been predicted for a couple of years now. Like a big
Did they
recession.
predict that it was going to come from a goddamn
No.
virus? But I have heard this for sure. A recession was going to hit.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I mean,
I
it
guess
was
it's
just
got to
waiting for
come
the
from
perfect
something,
storm.
though, right?
Yeah.
Something's usually got to happen before.
Well, and I think
It
that's
flops.
the thing is that like they were predicting that like we're in a good situation for something to destabilize this and pop this bubble and stuff, and then it just, you know, happened to be this corona. My corona.
Y'all better put a lime in this goddamn corona. That's all I got to say, because it's some bullshit. Because every time I cough now, I'll be like, hold on. Was that what type of cough was that? did I feel corona-y?
Did I take slime in that burp?
But speaking of traveling, little baby Jack went on his first airplane.
He sure did.
How
and
long-
he killed it.
How long was the flight?
An hour and a half. So perfect test run. On the way there, perfect little kid. He was on there. He was happy. Like almost too happy. I'm like, calm down, bro. Like, yeah, you know how you get to talking and shit. And I'm like, relax, bro. All that goo goo and gaga, and he about to piss people off in here.
If that pisses someone off, they need a therapist.
And you know what? That's what I got to after a while. Like, if you mad at a baby being happy, it's something wrong with you. And then once the plane took off, that bitch was almost like a car. He fell straight asleep. Got on mom's breastises and sucked himself to sleep. And he ain't wake up till we landed. On the way back, he was hungry getting on the plane, so he was a little more wiggly. He even Shalonda was trying to like start breastfeeding him when we was taking off, and he like threw his head back and hit the chair in front of her, and the dude turned around like, and I'm like, my bad, bro. Like, he looked irritated, and I'm like, bro, I'm sorry. Like, he getting fed right now. He gonna shut up. And it was just like the stereotype of kids kicking in the back of your seat. Right. And I'm like, of course. But after that shit only lasted like 5 minutes, seriously. And then he got on the boob, fell asleep. So he was basically 99% good, except for him banging his head on the dude's seat in front of him.
So one of my buddies, he's been looking at like the Orthodox Church and stuff, and he's got a couple of kids, and you know, one of them's really rather young, and he's like, you guys don't have church school. Like, you don't send your kids off to
like
be
Sunday
away.
school?
Yeah. It's stuff like they're there with you, you know, throughout the whole service. Like, I don't know if my kids can go ahead and do that. It's like an hour and a half. You know, they're going to be loud. They're going to be crying and that sort of thing. And, like, sure, that's true. But, like, every single priest I've ever seen, like, has always made a mention of, like, how much they actually enjoy it if, like, a baby's laughing or crying and that sort of thing. Because, like, why should you be irritated about that? It's a child being a child, you know. Yes, it'd be nice if they were quiet and that we could all go ahead and do this together and all that jazz. But a kid's a kid. Like, let them be a kid.
We had a kid's room at our church.
Yeah. The Orthodox don't do that. No, you're sitting right next to me and everything. And
You gonna get this Jesus. Because we're not doing baby Jesus for y'all. Y'all gonna get this grown up Jesus.
No, I mean, it was a room of
Open up
just
your Bible,
parents and
little
kids,
baby.
you know?
oh, okay.
So it was set. There were windows and it was sectioned off, and it wasn't 100% soundproof. But
See, all Orthodox churches have a narthex as well in the front. So, like, you know, some parents will go ahead
Carfax, Carfax.
and more or less, but
I always be like kind of weird about asking for a Carfax. Like, am I a dick for saying, let me see the Carfax? Or continue though.
yeah. So
Tangent.
I mean, if like the kid's being real bad and stuff like that, sure, you could go ahead and like take them, like, you know, in a more isolated area and stuff. But like, it's also a great opportunity, for example, for me to go ahead and work on being able to focus on something, even though there's distractions and stuff. And you really shouldn't be getting, especially like in that situation. I can understand if a kid's sitting behind you, kicking the back of your chair incessantly.
Yeah.
But if you look back and it's a little baby who's less than a year old, you need to grow up, my guy.
I mean, but I've also had like just adults come in and accidentally kick the back. Like, it happens once, whatever.
Right.
It happens.
Yeah, I got these long dancer's legs. I'm clumsy. I can't help it.
Spirit, y'all gotta do better, bro. I know the reason y'all shit so cheap is because y'all set
Are
y'all
cheap.
shit up like this. Yeah.
Are they doing
But
the
God
standing seats yet?
Damn.
Practically.
Because like it was
honestly,
it was basically going to be a bus.
honestly, that would be more comfortable to me than those tiny,
that's funny to know.
Let me
They were like, it's going to be like
$10 and you get the
goddamn.
you get the subway part of the goddamn plane. That's crazy.
I've seen in there's this monastery where on the sides they have like these seats with they have these high armrests, but and they're all along the walls, and you can actually fold the seat bottom up so that like if you're so we stand during most of the service, so if you're elderly and you need some support, you could go ahead and be standing over there and resting like your upper body on the armrest. It's like the perfect height and everything. And then you, if you need to sit down, you could go ahead and fold it down and sit down. It's like the best of both worlds. That would be a neat idea.
Genius architected that. That's motherfucking technology for your ass.
Like hundreds and hundreds of years old technology. But like
They
that
just
would
don't make them like they used to.
see. I wouldn't mind that for like a short domestic flight. You know, like I could go ahead and be standing up, or I could go ahead and put this little seat down, like put half my butt cheek on it or whatever, and
Yeah, I think most of
take
the
up less
time,
space.
I think our like little like kids churches, Sunday school or whatever, is less about the kids being disruptive during the services and more about teaching them at a level that they'll understand the Bible. So they'll call them over there, and then you know they got the like coloring books and you know the cartoonish versions of the Bible where they'll read to them and teach them stuff. So yeah, I don't know if, because Mike is in our service all the time, and most of the time he's asleep. When he's up, he's just kind of talking and vibing. And like you said, Pastor Lance, he'll just be like, "Hey, I know that's right, little Jack, like, amen." So like you said, he does enjoy it when he gets to talking, and if he does cry, Shalana just, you know, breastfeeds him. So I don't know, after you get to a certain age where breastfeeding don't just shut a baby up no more, because you can't breastfeed a 5-year-old. Then you gotta start
magazines.
you gotta start
you
thinking of
could.
other stuff if you don't have Sunday church. But Jack's cool, so I don't think I ever had no issues with him acting up in places. But yeah, I don't know. You just gotta sit him down, or like you said, take him outside and talk to him. You got to be a parent at some point, dog. So.
yeah. Well, what I like about it is like there's just like the family should be together.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like that.
I feel that.
Yeah, so
It don't be for
like
the whole service neither. Was your Sunday church thing like during the whole service, or
So
was
my
it like
my catechism was during the entire thing. It was basically us having the coloring book version of the Bible, talking about Jesus taking lambs somewhere, and we'd have to color in the lambs because
And did they pop out the book too? That was my favorite books ever. I just Ninja Turtle book. Continue.
I don't remember one.
So did you just have to color the lamb white? Yeah. take that stupid white crayon.
White,
Like,
White.
I'm done.
all right, it's titanium white.
Still can't color in the lines with the white crayon either. That's funny as shit. I can't believe they got a white crayon.
But I think we did that up until 13 when we did confirmation. No, that was when I was done basically. But
Yeah. I got my degree.
I don't know.
See, I think that's part of it. Also, is like when you're separating the kids out, and you're like, how well does that transition happen?
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to happen terribly well. It seems like you know, and especially nowadays with like these mega churches, I got buddies who go to them, and their kids are literally playing PlayStation 4. Yeah, during the service. And stuff, and like my one buddy was talking to his kid, was like, you know, what'd you learn today? And he's like, I mean,
nothing.
The upright combo. Yeah, I learned how to IU or damn.
I got a no scope 360.
Yeah,
right. So
why the
why
Hadouken?
why is that kid gonna want to go ahead and move from that to sit and listening to some guy and listen to this garbage, you know, contemporary Christian music?
I was thinking about
That's
something similar to
That's
that
wild.
Yesterday.
But that's what's popular, and that's what's popping.
Whatever to get the kids in the church.
I mean, I guess if they're listening, then osmosis at some point. But like Lent, giving up stuff for Lent, to me, was just giving it up. No, you know, it was never taught why you're giving something up.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just like, all right, I'm giving up something I like. That sucks. And
Well, I understood it.
Yeah.
But I didn't I never internalized it. Like, oh, Jesus didn't do something for 40 days. Let me not do something for 40 days. Cool. And as I grew up, I'm like, this actually helps you, dog. Like 1 year I gave up alcohol for 40 days. Never felt better in my life. And
then you go right back to
Right back to the bottle.
I went hard the first day after it was over. But yeah,
Which I think
it's
is
a difference between
possibly a good thing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like you feel how good you were for those 40 days, then you go hard and you feel awful, and you're like, this is exactly why I felt so good.
Yeah. So, that's funny.
Yeah. I haven't encountered that problem at all within the Orthodox Church yet. There's always been a lot of really good explanations, and like leading up into Lent, the first Sunday of the Lenten Triodion, which is like the 3 weeks that precede Lent, is the Sunday of the Pharisee and publican, and which like right then and there, like the homily is always talking about like, look, you have this publican or this Pharisee who was going ahead and following all the rules. He was observing all the fasts, and he thought that he was, super righteous and everything, but he wasn't. And this publican who, was like a awful person, tax collector, that sort of thing, he was actually.
Is that the story you were telling me a couple of years ago?
Possibly.
I think so.
But because like, especially during Lent when you're fasting, it's easy to go ahead and be like, oh, well, look, I'm following the fast so strictly. I'm better than you are. So like right off the bat, we're going ahead and saying like, well, like, yes, you should be fasting, but that doesn't make you a good person. And that sort of thing. So I feel like at least within Orthodoxy, we got like quite a lot of checks and balances about that. And leading up to Lent, the priests have always been talking about how, there's a lot of different things. When we fast, we don't just fast from food, but you also pray more and you give alms more. So you're supposed to be more charitable. You're only eating one meal a day. You're saving money. Give that money to a homeless person. That's what you're supposed to be doing with it. And then also, I see plenty of like people going ahead and saying like, well, instead of giving up chocolate for 40 days, why don't you go ahead and give up being rude, or something like that. And it's like, what do you think praying's all about? Like it's working on those internal spiritual issues that you have, such as being a jackass, cutting people off, and that sort of thing.
Don't be rude for 40 days.
Give up road rage for 40 days. Yeah. What do you think we're doing? Like that's part of going ahead and increasing your prayer life. But it does seem that can get disjointed when you're in a liturgical tradition, because like I think it's easy to fall into this whole well, this is just what we do. Liturgical, churchical, yeah, churchsicles, yeah. And I think that is a problem within both Orthodoxy and Catholicism, is that like you just go through, you can get sucked into going through the motions, especially when you're raised in it, right? Because like, well, it's kind of hard to question and know what to question if it's just, like, does a fish question that it's in water?
Is it wet?
Yeah, is it wet?
I mean, Catholicism, it was always do as I say type of thing. It wasn't think for yourself, and that was one of my biggest issues with a lot of it.
But see, I think that's part of why those traditions are so resilient. There's been plenty of times within Orthodox Catholic history, Anglican history, that the church has been on like the verge of completely like being destroyed. But I think even when you're just going through the motions, maybe you don't understand it, but it allows you to preserve something for future generations to understand. Like your parents may not have understood it. And maybe like they're not the types to go ahead and really dig into it and have that understanding of it. So they're just passing something, like they're being a parrot. They're copying and handing it off to you, which allows you the opportunity to have a deeper understanding than they ever did, nor did they ever care for, so that, you can then pass that on in a new way. I see that a lot.
Well,
I mean, I see that a lot in Masonry too, people complain about like, oh, well, you should, actually understand the meaning of the ritual and not just be parroting the lines and stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, that's true. I agree. But that guy who's just parroting it is at least parroting it for someone who will go ahead and have that deeper understanding. So he's still doing a service to Masonry. You shouldn't just write him off as like some like idiot, because he's doing his job at preservation.
Yep. Classic Tupac line. I might not be the change, but I just hope to inspire the mind that does create the change eventually.
Right. You just got to keep that fire going.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm curious about your Catholic background, Mike.
Yeah.
We getting into that here?
we can get into it. It's an hour in. I gotta judge that nudge too.
Oh, okay.
I won't switch the subject on you though. Young, so I don't remember much of it. Went pretty faithfully up into the age of 13. Mostly because it was one of those things where, and this is a big argument in the black community, like, why are y'all Christians? And because it seems like we're only doing it because it's what our grandparents did and what their grandparents did. Why you're not really choosing the religion, you're just going along with the flow. My granny went to the Catholic church. My mom went to the Catholic church, brought me to the Catholic church. So I went because I had to. I got no motherfucking choice when I'm up to 13 and really up till I was 18. But she just stopped going because we moved far away. And then
was she your mom?
Yeah.
So your mom's side was Catholic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad's side was in the streets. Yeah, they had that 10 crack commandments. That's not
I mean, it's still written on rock.
Yep. So what I will say is I learned the most about the Bible in the Catholic Church.
That's interesting to hear.
You get so bored you read it.
Yeah, and it was partly because of the Sunday school stuff, partly because it's a lot of reading out of the Bible during those services. They were, a lot of the services reading and doing the hymns and stuff and talking about these stories, and the priest has his breakdown, right? So I feel like at that time of my life, I learned the most about those stories. And so I don't remember too much. The services was long, had to stand up a lot, kneel a lot, boring.
Were your masses, were they more conversational? Just because I know that the community of Catholic that I grew up with and the community of Catholic that you grew up with are probably completely opposite.
Nope, because I went to an all-white Catholic church. So it wasn't, when you say conversational, what you mean?
So I mean,
what was their ethnic background?
You said what?
Do you know like what their ethnic background, like Irish, Italian?
I have no idea.
Okay.
My mom might know though. I'll ask her.
Mine was
if she remembers.
Latin, I believe. It was we had services in Latin sometimes, randomly.
Right.
But
Poland's like a rather historically Catholic country and that sort of thing. So
conversational. You mean
so like I think a lot of the hymns, or not the hymns, but the stories that we listened to, there wasn't much breakdown afterwards. It was like, all right, here's a story, blah 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 happened. All right, time to sing.
We had a young priest, so he was still full of energy, full of life, excited about the church.
We had like an 80-year-old.
Yeah, and so let me rephrase that. We had an old dude that was the main priest, right? But then he would let the younger dude take over during services, probably because he seen this time was coming and shit. So when the young dude would start, he did get into some good breakdowns. He had some good analogies, and that's what the difference is between. And that's when I realized, that's what I like when somebody, because they be having bars, like their analogies and they metaphors for comparing your everyday life to stuff that's happening in the Bible. That's the thing that gets me rejuvenated. So he was a breath of fresh air whenever he would speak lively. But yeah, most of the time it was just read it, sing something, kneel, pray, come get this communion, sit your butt down. And shout outs to when you finally old enough to get that communion though, boy. I get the wine too.
AM wine.
And you gotta try not to laugh and shit. Like, you drunk, Jew?
That's funny because like, in our church it doesn't matter how old you are. And we don't do it separately neither,
tearing up babies' minds.
For one,
1400.
It's leavened bread and not the unleavened wafers.
Yeah, and
the bread is in the wine. So you're going up there and like everyone's just getting a little scoop.
And that wine is so watered down.
Yeah,
anyways.
Ours wasn't.
Really?
It banged. But it was a different time back in the day.
I mean, ours
was a rosé, and he would pour
And
water.
now,
in it
actually,
and
what they're
watch it.
doing is they got them individually packaged, like an individually packaged wine and individually
It's like a Lunchable.
Yeah, it's like a little
it's a Catholic Lunchable.
yeah.
So
Because
weird to
before
me.
that, we had to drink like grape juice, and then we got to upgrade to the wine.
I mean, for us, like you're literally getting like a little spoon and stuff like that. So even with like a low child, I mean, there's no.
And now that I think about it, and after saying it out loud, I don't know if it's that I just learned more than I do in like than I did in like the Baptist and the Pentecostal church, or as much as it is, that's when I first heard the stories, and it kind of seems like a lot of people stick to some of the same stories throughout the your church going life. So I feel like I took in a lot of information because as a child, you're taking in, you're a sponge, and those were the first time hearing those stories. So it was like, oh wow, and after a while, like you go to every Easter, you hear the same story. You know what I'm saying? Like certain holidays, every New Year's, every Christmas.
Well,
we get
they have
some of the same.
lectionary,
yeah. So after a while, you just be like, all right, I heard this one before. I know about Cain and Abel. I know about Job. I know, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know if it probably is more so that I just heard, that's when I first learned them. And I feel like that's when I actually learned them as opposed to later on. Now, what I will say is you get a better understanding. I did, at least when I got older and I got into the churches where they would have like I said, bars about these about these stories. And it's like, oh, dang, that's a great way to put that. Like I didn't even think of that story like that, but you done flipped it around and came in with a dope idea. So Catholic Church, way more organized, scheduled. They stuck to their timeline. We got in at this time, we got out at this time.
We had doors closing.
Yeah,
at 10. Like,
it was. I feel like it was.
It was shame if you were late.
Yeah, I feel like it was more studious. It was more. You knew what you was gonna get every day, and you was in and out. So it was less. And then for the Baptist and Pentecostal churches, it's more feel. You go in there, and I just feel a presence in the church. It's more vibrant. The music is definitely more upbeat, more lively. The pastor's talks, what's the call?
Like sermon.
Sermons are always some sort of connection to get you to understand what's going on, to better, because they try to put it in layman's terms. They're not. He'll read it right and say, let's turn to Psalms this and read the scripture, and then say, okay, let me break this scripture down for you. And then so it's like more of a learning experience in that aspect in the in Baptist and Catholic church, or I mean Baptist and like Pentecostal and all the other ones. Black church, let's just say it like and then he just breaks it down. So I learned more about the stories back then, but I got a better breakdown as I got older into the black church, and it's a different feel. There it's like get in, get out. You got your God in. Here it's like, I don't know what time this motherfucker gonna end, and you gonna get your church. Now, not to say that Pastor Lance is better now. He sticks to his schedule, 2:30 to 4:30, and then we out of there. And during that time, we do the praise and worship, which is the singing and stuff. And then we'll do like the offering plate and whatever, and then he'll get into his sermon. So he's been really good about getting us in and out of there. So. Yeah, it's just a different feel, man. So it's all about what type of church you like. Well, do you want more feel, or you want more reading, I guess is the difference.
Yeah, well, so I mean, Catholicism has like a bad track record with that. I mean, scholasticism came from the Catholic Church. When you get into like St. Thomas Aquinas and like just how technical they were trying to be and so intellectual, like that is an aspect of what we're talking about, but you can't deny like the feeling aspect of it as well, and there has to be some sort of balance, which I think is like a major aspect of the whole Reformation schism that happened was that all right, we're just getting too technical. I mean, like they're sitting down trying to figure out what word
Each word means,
at what point exactly does the Holy Spirit descend and substantiate the holy gifts, and like the Eastern perspective is like, I mean, it's a mystery.
Yeah.
like capital M Greek mystery, it's, we know it happens somewhere around here and stuff, but like,
and we know, and it happens.
Like,
so.
we can't know everything. So like, we got to get over ourselves. So I feel like, we kind of have like a good balance, and especially
in the Orthodox,
in my opinion. Yeah. Cause like, for example, like, we also have a lectionary. So there's readings that are ascribed to every single day. And so this coming Sunday, I'm going to hear the same, since it's the first Sunday of Lent, it's going to be the same epistle and gospel reading as it was last year. But since we're so big on tradition, like what that means is that the reading is always, or the homily is always centered on the reading for the vast majority of the part. Sometimes a priest may go ahead and stray and go into something that he's been studying lately, but that's by far the minority from my experience. It's okay, so we just had the reading in the gospel reading. We're talking about the publican and the Pharisee. Let's break that down. And I remember the first time I attended Holy Transfiguration, it was just after Christmas, a couple years back, and Father Michael, like the reading was talking about Jesus and his family like fleeing to Egypt as he was a baby and stuff, and Father Michael broke it down in layman's terms, like, what do we have here? A tyrannical government that is punishing its people, killing its children, and we have refugees fleeing to another country looking for safety and everything. What do we have going on in the world right now?
China
and stuff, and it was right in, around the time like with a lot of like the Syria in the news and stuff like that. So like for one, I really appreciated that, because I feel like a lot of the conservatives I know are like, hey, Syrians, go to hell. Yeah. But here you got like in Livonia, all these white people saying like, we need to take care of our refugees because you got to look out for one another and all that jazz. And
that's true.
Yeah. So I think it allows for, since it's going to be the same thing that you've heard year after year, the priest has like a more of a need to go ahead and really try and like understand it from a different angle to go ahead and share it with the people and stuff. So the homilies at least always augments the readings differently.
Yeah, I just appreciate hearing other stuff within, because the Bible's pretty big, so I appreciate being able to come in and not really know what I'm getting on my plate for the day. And what he'll do too is break down a month, and like we got 4 services, and this month is going to be about love. So this service is going to be part 1 of love, part 2, part 3, part 4, and then each part I got a different scripture. Sometimes it's in the same book, sometimes or the same chapter, sometimes it's not, and it's all going to be about love, so I can paint a picture for y'all how it's described in the Bible and how to apply it to your life. So he get a little he get freaky with them joints. So you ain't been to church since you was 13?
I went a couple times when I was 16 for various reasons, and then I did
for various reasons. A
What
girl,
the hell? Right?
was it a girl? all right.
Various reasons.
There's 2 reasons.
There's 2 big old.
Wait, was there a 3rd reason? That booty.
The 2 tiggo reasons.
but no, I mean, I don't know. I've gone through a lot of different religious phases, so now I put myself at agnostic Catholic, if that makes sense.
So when was the last time you've been?
There's people who claim that they're
16,
Christian
18.
atheists. So
16, 18. Nice. 15 years or so, more than that maybe. I don't know how old you are, Wazzy. Sorry.
with things being like the same all the time, like in my opinion, it really also depends. Again, I can't speak specifically about Catholicism, but since like we broke apart from one another, I have to imagine it's rather similar. That like if you pay close enough attention, it's always very different.
I feel that.
Because like we have, depending on what day of the week it is, that changes certain aspects of the liturgy depending on what month it is and all that sort of thing, because like there's different feast days for different saints, so like the Kontakion and the Troparia are always different. And then when you start actually listening to the music, the tones, like, all right, today the Prokimenon's in the 6th tone, so like you may be hearing the same thing that you heard last week, like the same words, but the tone is different, so the rhythm is different, so it's being sung completely differently. And sometimes, man, like especially like the Trisagion prayer, there's certain tones that it's sung in that like blows me away. And I'm always like, every time I go to church, I'm like, wait, what tone is it going to be today?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So there's a lot of subtlety. It is really humbling, I think.
Yeah. But it's not as...
It's not as dynamic.
It's dynamic. Yeah.
It's subtle.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. And you got to... And I think there are people that go to your church with you, Jake, that don't even notice that subtlety.
Right.
I think that
I fully agree.
I think that you're actually all in. You're paying attention and your heart is in it, and so you notice these subtleties. But there are some people who go to church who kind of use it as think of it as an obligation, right?
Right. But
I gotta go every Sunday. I don't really want to go, but I mean, for whatever reason, I think.
But it's an objective reality. Exactly, then it's not just a subjective experience or emotion. It's an objective reality. This is what we do.
Yeah.
We're coming around something that's real and objective and stuff, and having our own subjective experience of it. But I mean, that's fine. Like, these Russians and Romanians and Syrians who came over here and like preserved it, even if they're just going through the motions, they preserved it long enough for me to come here and have my experience of it.
True. That's true.
So like, I really,
the body or not,
whether they know,
helped us keep this bad boy open.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me if they know, like, understand or not. If they're just going through the motions, if they don't even feel like being there, that's fine, because like they helped me get here.
Yeah. So what would you need to do to start going back to one, Wise, if ever? Because churches is like closed, dog. You got to kind of find the one that fits, right? Like every church ain't created equal, so it really is a process to find one that you.
So like I remember going to a non-denominational Christian. That was cool.
Yeah, I do. Non-denoms are good too.
I don't know.
Some people have their views on them, though, but
I think a lot of it is just...
That's where all the video games are at.
Probably.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, everyone I've talked to whose kids are playing video games at church,
there was a full electric band playing, like there's an electronic guitar, electric bass, drums, and I don't know. I think it's my mindset of how I want to look at religion.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're saying church, but, like, I'd say, like, religion in general. Like, is there anything that appeals to you, whether it's Tibetan Buddhism or
the idea
Shintoism or whatever?
How to treat people are the parts that I like. Things like fate or already knowing the outcomes, I don't like those ideas. So I don't know.
Well, yeah. So you don't want to be Protestant then? Yeah, because you can't. Calvinism is kind of at the core of all of Protestantism, which is predestination.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the things, but
yeah, that is like, I feel you on that, Wise.
And that's, I mean, treating people, that's one of the things that I've really appreciated about Saints Peter and Paul. Whenever, like, after church, we have the meal every Sunday, and it's a different group who's coming in all the time. And we always get everyone together back in the kitchen. Matt, who's the deacon, he'll go ahead and give a little talk to everyone. And that's one of the things he says. He's like, Christ told us that, we're supposed to feed the hungry, clothe the poor, and that as you do for the least of these, you do for me. So every single person that you go ahead and are feeding, you should be looking in them and seeing the eyes of Christ. You should be loving them as if they were God themselves and stuff. And when you're feeding them, you should be thanking them, because like the grace that you receive is far greater than this stupid food that you're giving them.
One is material and
right.
One is ethereal, I guess. I mean,
yeah, and we've been doing it for 8 years, nonstop every Sunday, and and he's like,
where is that again?
in Southwest Detroit, Saints Peter and Paul Orthodox Cathedral. It's I think. I can't remember this. It's just south of Michigan Ave in Livernois. Just off. It's Clayton and Gilbert. Clayton. So if you're going south on Livernois, just past Michigan Ave, there's a post office on the right hand side, and you turn right onto Clayton. Okay. And it's right there. But
and what time do y'all start serving?
The meal starts at 2. Okay. Usually, like the people who are bringing the food, they're there at like 1 o'clock to prep everything. But like he explains, like, we've been doing this for 8 years. We know these people. We've bailed them out of jail. We've been there like when they've been in that, like we've visited them in the hospital and stuff like that. These aren't just friends, even they're family. And like that hits me like really deeply, really hard. And with me going down there as often as I do, I see all like the different people from different backgrounds. I'm seeing the Romanians coming out, the Greeks, Russians from out in Dexter all the way to Southwest Detroit. That's past Ann Arbor if you don't know. and they're coming out and like sincerely trying to like do whatever they can to help these people. And to me, that's just a beautiful thing. So if y'all ever free on a Sunday, even if you don't want to go to church, come on down, like help me do some dishes.
If you know somebody who could use a meal once a week, tell them to go head on down there and they'll hook you up.
Yeah. I mean, like you don't even have to be homeless or anything. Right. Like we don't care. If you live across the street from the church and you're just hungry, come on out.
Yeah.
And I think you touched on one of the other things that I didn't have in my religious stuff, which is the community aspect.
The fellowship. That's a big part of
like the fellowship. Is that?
No, I just mean feeling like it's a full community. To me, it was just a bunch of people congregating in a building and then saying hi once every Saturday or Sunday for an hour afterwards. It didn't feel like a community thing, which,
like I said, you gotta, because from what you're saying, it sounds like music plays a little bit of a key. Y'all got some good music in there. I'll rock with that.
I like it, but then again, I listen to like Gregorian chants and stuff like that. So,
but his is more. Do y'all have like instruments at the Orthodox?
Oh hell no!
Exactly, it's just all they voices.
The Greeks have
they go crazy. I heard them singing.
The Greeks have organs sometimes, and like the rest of the Orthodox world looks at them like a little sideways, like what the hell's wrong with you?
They do it all like throat singing and junk. I like instrumentation too. I like when we be having live. We get some of the best drummers in the city come through.
I hate the singing though.
Vocalists.
I was a bell player.
Singing, I hate it.
I was a bell player for a while.
Nice bell players would go crazy too. What y'all teaching over there? Are y'all trying to tell me that nothing I do matters because faith has got me strapped up, or y'all teaching me about being a better human being by treating others better? And third, how close is everybody in there? When I come in, do I feel wanted? Do I feel like I'm a part of a family? Half of that last one is gonna be have a lot of onus on yourself. You have to walk in ready to be accepted into a community. Because because
if you don't go to coffee hour, that's your own fault.
I think it was my parents, and in that, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. I'm not talking about you specifically.
No,
I'm just talking
it is
about
part of it.
It is.
Yeah, certainly.
So, like, if and I think the third one probably comes after. Like, okay, I've come here a couple times. I like it. Now let me try to integrate myself into the community here, because it seems like they have something. And that's when, and good churches, man, they throw stuff like what Jake is saying. Oh yeah, we about to help out these people over here. We have a men's night. So all the men get together and talk. Women's night, all the women get together and do fellowship.
Yeah, we do a big bonfire once a year.
Like,
men's bonfire.
It's like stuff that y'all can do. We going out to do this, we doing that. And that's like a new wave now. A lot of younger pastors, priests, are starting to get more into like I don't know, the ones that I've seen, at least they how can I put it, I don't want to say it's more laid back, but it's more they usually have like more approachable ways of getting people in the community to start coming to church. Like the one that we went to for my cousin
Crossover.
Yeah, Crossover Church. They be throwing like events, like they'll rent out a gym, everybody come up there, and then we'll play ball, we gonna cook outside, we gonna do like it's like a family picnic. And then you come out there, and then we're gonna tell you a little bit about our church while we doing. We're gonna pray before we do everything, and then y'all come through. And it's just it's not only a way of building relationships in the church, but it's a way to attract members from outside of the church. And those are the ones that I like. Like, oh, that's fire. Like Pastor Lance, he just he'll set up a barbecue pit outside the church random Sundays throughout the year and just cook. And anybody who walk by, you want a hot dog, it's free. You want some pop, you want some chips, like he'll feed the community and tell everybody to come out. And those are the things that I like, and I feel like that's something that you will like too. So really, it's finding the churches that do that, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not easy. Me and Shonda went to a lot of churches, like, because we went to her pastors for a while, and then we were like, let's kind of explore, see what these other churches are doing, and we found some good ones, but like the one we go to now, that's literally Shonda's family. That's her uncle, her auntie. So, and you don't get that feeling everywhere, dog. So I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. You gonna go places, you be like, this ain't it.
I mean, because I was attending this Greek Orthodox for a minute and stuff, and I mean, now again, it goes back to like what you were saying. I didn't open up. I didn't go to coffee hour, but like I didn't feel like a warmth there and all that jazz. Whereas when I went to Saints or Holy Transfiguration for the first time, like it was just all over the place.
So if you want to start looking, let me know. We'll look around. I'll see what else. I'll even go to some of them with you.
I mean, really,
we'll figure it out. If that's not your stilo, no matter what it is, well, then that's cool too.
I'm cool like doing my own thing. Just I like where I am, where it's all a mystery, and
you can meet girls in church too. Singles nights
or that. Yeah, no.
What you was about to say, dog?
No, so during Lent,
the Orthodox girls.
during Lent,
they get real.
Well, no, during Lent, in the Detroit area, there's the Council of Orthodox Christian Churches of Detroit or something like that, and every Sunday they in the evening, I think around 6:00, we hop around to like different churches. So like one Sunday,
so it's church hopping instead of bar hopping.
No, so
go ahead.
I agree.
So one like and it's for Vespers, but so it's a chance for everyone from the different parishes who don't get to see each other. And there's St. George, Romania, that's just down the street from you, and like one of these upcoming Sundays, the Vesper service is gonna be over there. But there's I think there's Romanians out your way in Warren, and I was thinking about hitting that up. But if you want to go, I can let you know. It's like an hour-long service or whatever. But
that ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Good little talk, y'all. And to finish it off, because I know Jake got out of here at a hard stop.
Jake has to
we got a little
minutes.
judge that nudge. Right. Now this one, the actual volume and conversation is key in this judge that nudge. So I want you to analyze the fight. Right. I want you to analyze the dialogue as well.
Okay.
Here we go. Y'all already know how I start off.
Whoa! One hand! Oh! Whoa!
How is that cup not emptied?
Right?
Oh, with the soda!
So he's at the McDonald's. That's where it's from. Stiff arm. Control the head, posture up.
Oh!
What sort of shoes is homeboy in the white jacket wearing? Oh!
That counter is crazy!
Mike Tyson.
Oh!
I like the employees in the background. They're just like, all right.
Weird boy down.
What did he say? Weird guy down?
I don't know what the fuck he just said, Jake. All right, let's take it from the top.
If you're drinking, don't get into fights for one, because
both
you
of
look
these guys
foolish.
are clearly inebriated.
Yeah,
I like the guy doing the bird dance.
yeah. I mean, but at least he was going ahead and being able to handle himself. Like he definitely had some drinks in him, but he didn't have enough to go ahead and be as silly as
Dude in a black coat definitely looked like Wilder in the 6th. That started off. Like y'all said, pizza drink. It's sideways the whole time.
I don't know
but
how
somehow
that
there's nothing spilling.
his footwork really like makes me nervous the entire time. He stands way too square. But then again, it doesn't matter because look at this chump. You know, he's so drunk that I like how he grabs the back of the hood and like just uses it to like throw him on the ground there.
Just his plan.
That's a great observation, Dick. It was so smooth.
So he reached to the far shoulder. The guy was forward, and he was able to use that leverage to twist him.
Yeah.
So whenever we would do takedowns, like that's you want to off balance them and twist. That's
Go back
key to
and frame there.
takedown.
His cup. He has a clutch on that.
Yeah, that thumb's going in.
Jesus.
And look, it's past the straw.
Bro.
The darkness, that's 2/3.
McDonald's, y'all don't even have lids this strong. What city does this man live in? Because this McDonald's got high quality beverage containers. That's crazy. The stomp there. Grabbing the back of the head.
He grabs the ankle.
Oh, with the soda.
He could have gone for a single leg, but he just couldn't have it because dude in the white is posting off his head
I
there.
kind of feel like he's not trying to grab his leg to fight him. He's trying to grab his leg for stabilization. So that he can stay.
He's trying to stabilize himself while he's laying on the ground. He's so drunk that on the ground he is unstable.
And this is where you see him like, oh yeah, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. At this point, he could have gone ahead and probably just walked away.
Now he goes into an offensive stance, Jake.
Oh wait, do you think he could have like walked away at that point? Do you think it was possible, or do you think
that fight was
Ivory
over
over
at
here
that-
was gonna?
Oh, you're talking about the black coat?
Yeah,
no,
but-
I couldn't get out of here. Look at him. He's charging him now. He's not.
Well, yeah, I know, but that was because of the way he confronted him there. Do
yeah.
you think he could have got up and be like, you know, threw his hands like, look,
Yeah.
we're done.
It might have been. It was a slight.
Everybody is unfazed.
Yeah.
I think Ivory's just really feeling himself over here, and is like, you know, I want to go ahead and take it to him.
Look at this man here, bro.
Look at them pixels. Shout out to Green Shot, by the way.
Shout out to me.
Oh, that punch! Did you see it swooped down and came up like you're not hitting anything? Look at that! Oh wait, yeah, go back there. Look, yeah. Wait, no, when he dodges back, so right. Okay, the arm's in the way, but if you just look at his body angle there, that's why I question how drunk he is. He's pulling this Matrix in that face now. But like to go ahead and like maintain his balance with that inebriation and that cup, like he's holding himself together. Boom! That counter.
Well, you know you got a clean joint.
Well, yeah, and that's the danger of those counter punches, right? Because he's moving forward and stuff, and then you're just timing it right. So,
but he's still up. Look at his hand.
I don't think
here.
he's up. He's
he's dead on his feet.
Look at his
man
hand
over.
movement though.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because well, I mean, his hand movement. He's like this. So
The why I oughta. Is he setting up for an uppercut here? Jake?
oh, definitely.
You got two clean shots and didn't connect at all. Why is there no power in these punches here, Jake? What's he doing wrong with these punches?
What, Ivory there?
Yeah.
he missed on number 2 there.
I mean, so
That was a clean hit.
Number
The
3.
second one had no power in it. What's going on there?
I mean, so for one, he's got a beard, so that's giving him extra protection. But I mean, we saw how he was sliding around earlier. I think his shoes aren't really allowing him to get much of a grip.
Okay.
And the power all comes from the earth.
Shoes,
You
what
know.
you got on them? Some Stacey Adams. Yeah, he got them from DSW for sure.
Yeah, so you know the force all comes from Mother Earth here, you know.
Yeah, and but I'm mad the cameraman.
Yeah.
Looking, what you looking at here, cameraman?
Those shoes.
Yeah, but now my man's is down.
See the way he's buckled.
Yeah, you see.
Well, he got hit. He was hit in the nose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. His shit leaking. But then here's the best part. Bye bye. Bye bye.
It's done when I say it's done.
Down.
That was one of the worst fights I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, so the force in a punch really is coming from the ground. So like you have to have your legs involved. You got to engage your ankles, your knees, all the joints, your hips. You know, because it all stems from there. This is nothing. And so when you got shoes on like that, like it's hard to go ahead and
You
really
got
get
no
that
grip on them bitches. Yeah.
Well, and if they're slipping, your power is literally going into the
Yep.
that. So
Yeah, and instead of all coming. I can't think.
Newton's law: for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So the force that would be in your punch is getting lost in your
Right,
sliding
right,
leg.
because now you got the force going in two different directions. Yeah,
Fig Newton?
yeah, man.
Yep.
All right.
What you know about Fig Newtons, though, bro?
The
Date flavored were amazing.
date flavored Fig Newtons. No, thank you. And that'll wrap us up, y'all, with some nasty shit and a fire judge that nudge. No Consensus Podcast, you bitch.
Peace.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.